Sir Isaac Newton once said, "I can calculate the motion of the heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people." The great physician and the Nobel laureate said this after he lost 20,000 pounds, which amounted to almost all of his life savings, to a failed investment strategy in South Sea Company. Such is the nature of investments. Good morning, one and all. I am Soumya Verma, and I shall be your master of ceremonies for the day. I, on behalf of the Finance Forum, welcome you all to the SMIC finale. TAPMI provides a unique opportunity to the top 35 students in the area of finance to undergo the experiential learning of stock selection and portfolio management through the Student Managed Investment course, or SMIC. TAPMI provides funding of INR 25,000 for each student enrolled in this course. The course consists of 35 students divided into 7 teams of 5 members each. Therefore, each team has a collective corpus of 1,25,000 rupees. Teams are responsible for investing this money in a pre-approved list of securities and manage the portfolio. I request Niharika to present the bouquet to Director Sir and Professor Madhuvir Raghavan. I would now like to call upon Professor Madhuvir Raghavan, Area Chair Finance, to welcome the gathering.
Before I start, I just wanted to add one thing to Soumya's Isaac Newton story. There's also Irving Fisher, who made the entire endowment of Yale bankrupt and died a pauper. So I take great pleasure. Dr. R.C. Natarajan, our director, and immensely eminent personalities here from the industry, my fellow students. I take great pleasure in welcoming you all to this magnificent day. Today we're going to celebrate excellence. Excellence because 35 of the best finance students will actually showcase their talent in front of very senior industry people, the who's who in the world of finance. This idea actually originated when Dr. R.C. Natarajan, director, went to Connecticut, and the seeds were sown, and I had not even joined at that stage. He was on a trip to Harvard, and he went to Connecticut and met with the professor called Chinmay Ghosh, and he went into their lab. And right after that, I had joined TAPMI from Monash. And after a couple of months, Arsin said, I saw this thing, finance lab, we have to do something like that. So having set 2 state-of-the-art labs at Monash, I knew exactly what the director wanted. And I can tell you that I'm very, very lucky to be in a place. I've actually always been lucky to work under great deans. Outside India, deans are the most powerful people in business schools. And in India, the director is the most powerful person in the business school. And RCN is one person, he's always supported anything we wanted. In fact, he has a great vision, although he's a marketing professor, but has a tremendous amount of love for finance. So he said to me, okay, so I'm trying to convert him actually, that's how I am. My punchline is very simple, everybody has to do finance. So in any event, so RCN said, I want this done. And I said, okay, so many of you know, and in the interest of the academic, or the practitioners, who gathered here, I wanted to let you know that we spent over 1 crore. And we started the project in the month of May, actually. June, July, August of 2014. The lab was inaugurated, and Dhaval, you were there at the launch, the inauguration of the lab. And then, creating a lab is one thing, but that's a vision, that's a dream. But how do you convert that into reality? And so RCN again said, I think we need to have a course. We need to really do something very fast. So, like the director, he is, and he just gave me a week to bring something onto the table. And I said, okay. So I worked on SMIC. SMIC is generally used around the world. UCLA has a great program. Yeah, I know, normally you give me only 24 hours. This time he gave me a week. But anyway, I had it done before that, and I sent him a first round of the draft, which Arsin had to take it to the trust. Remember, this is a trust. TAPMI is run by the trust, and therefore we had to get the trust approval. I wanted to mention to many of you, and students probably don't know this, UCLA has one of the most amazing programs. The Anderson School has a program of $2 million, and they only take 12 students every year to handle that. It's an 18-month-long program. I tell you what, the 35 students who are here are the most luckiest people, because there is no school in India that gives real money, and I mean real money, to invest in financial markets. My vision for TAPMI is absolutely totally totally in sync with what the director has in mind, and that is to put the banking and finance program, the PGDM finance major, at the forefront. And there should be no school that should ever come close to TAPMI, right? We want our students to be industry relevant. We want them to be globally employable citizens. We want them to have an excellent grasp of theoretical underpinnings, which I'm very big about. At the same time, the students keep asking me, but sir, what is the application of this in the real world? And the real world is that if you have a great understanding of theory, you can actually bring it to the capital market. So we wanted a course that would expose the students to some very realistic situations where they would handle situations like that. And so we had the SMIC course. Of course, Vish Iyer is not here, my dear friend and colleague with whom I worked very closely on this. Vish is actually traveling to Hyderabad, so Vish, we will miss you. I know you're watching this live. Live streaming is happening, and we are missing you. So we set this course up, and after a lot of legal approvals, because it's a trust, and so we had to get all the undertakings done, we actually gave students only 2 months. So effectively, the students got the money in the month of January, and in the month of March, in the month of February, late Feb to early March, they had to liquidate the positions. So I can see that some of the industry mentors are probably thinking, well, this is more like, Barbara Nodino's story, because they're trying to trade more, and too much of trading is bad for wealth and health. I totally agree with that, but unfortunately, the students didn't have a longer term. But the current SMIC students, the new batch that is sitting here, the 20 of them, will have a much longer term, and therefore you'll be grilled 10 times more by the next panel that will come and evaluate your presentations. So be ready. One of the main reasons why we wanted the current SMIC batch, that is the next batch, to be here, is to see what the current batch is doing. The batch that is graduating is going to present to the industry. And you will see the amount of work that involves. Guys, this is a very, very demanding course. And I can tell you, Vish and I have put them through absolute hell. If they have come through this, now they're going to go through more difficult time with their mentors, but that is all in very good spirit. This is a magnificent learning experience. And Dhaval mentioned to me yesterday that 12 years ago, if he had an opportunity like this, he'd have grabbed it. No IMs do this, guys. This is what distinguishes TAPMI. The punchline for me still holds the same. Think finance, destination must be TAPMI, no other school, right? That is the way we want to go forward. We want to make sure we give you both the theory and practice of finance. There's a significant gap, and we want to bridge the gap. We want to make sure industry takes a very, very good note of what TAPMI is all about, and why we're setting up such brilliant courses where students are getting hands-on experience, experiential learning, pedagogical innovation. You can call it any which way you want, but that is what TAPMI is about, right? So it's a great experience, and I thank all the judges for taking the time out of busy schedules and being here on a Sunday morning. I cannot thank each one of you enough, but we very much appreciate you being here, and I thank the director again for making it to the event. He was not feeling very well, but he said, look, at least I'll come for the inauguration, I will be there. So thank you all, and I would like to take one more minute. I want to thank the design team who are actually here, which many of the judges actually saw. Can you please stand up so the director also sees? So the design team did a magnificent job in putting the lab together. The walls that you see are done by these guys, and they worked very, very closely with me. And I also want to introduce the Samnidhi team, which is also here. Now, many of you may not know that SMIC and SMIF are two very exciting initiatives the finance discipline has. SMIC, of course, is a course. SMIF is a student managed investment fund, which is actually called Samnidhi, and it's completely run by the students. You'll be pleased to know we have collected a corpus of 2,25,000. And students are going to handle that. In fact, yesterday Tushar was in the interview panel. We were interviewing for a new CEO, a CIO, and a CRO for Samnidhi, and Tushar was part of that interview panel. So, TAPMI is doing some very exciting things. The finance calendar of TAPMI is full of brilliant events, and I would like to see you all again. The phenomenal 2015 that we're going to have. We've got some very exciting events planned for that event as well. So, thank you. I welcome you all again, and thank you all.
Thank you, Madhu sir, for the insightful words. I call Priyanka and Madhura for the singing of the invocation song.
गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि गीतसाराय गीततत्त्वाय गीतगोत्राय धीमहि गूढगुल्फाय गन्धमत्ताय गोजयप्रदाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि.
Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you, Madhura. I now call upon Professor R.C. Natarajan and Professor Madhuvir Raghavan for the lighting of the lamp.
Good morning to all of you, and respected judges, thank you very much for coming. It's so nice of you. Before I start, I came here fairly sleepy, but Soumya woke me up when she said, as soon as I came here, Sir Isaac Newton said, don't measure the motion of a madman. I was wondering what the hell, I just sat down and she says this. So I partially woke up, and then Madhu says, although Natarajan is a marketing professor, as if, you know, Arey, marketing is business, man. That's what Peter Drucker said, and I keep saying that. To me, top line doesn't matter. To me, bottom line matters as a marketing man. And you guys are supposed to calculate and tell me. That's all. So me and Madhu, I mean, you remember the induction day when we had a nice duel on marketing and finance. So if you want exciting faculty, what did you say? If you want excitement, come to finance, but if you want exciting faculty, come to marketing. So anyway, now coming to the serious issue of what my vision for finance is. TAPMI, once upon a time, was known for finance. When I say once upon a time, it was not the time of Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve. It was as close as early 2000s. We had excellent faculty members by names Rajagopalan, undoubtedly one of the best I can think of. Pitabas Monti, who is now in XLRI. Biswal, who is now in MDI, Kanakraj, who went to IIM Indore, and then from there he moved to XLRI. There's of course this migration that happens. All our excellent faculty go away, and Vishwanath has taken up as a director's post in some place, and Ravi Kumar has gone to Cochin, to his hometown, to do stock business. And of course I understand he is a visiting faculty once in a while in IIM Calicut, and trying to get him here. But all those people went for greener pastures in some form. And unfortunately, marketing guys don't get that, so we stay put here. I want to build that finance team here. That kind of a finance faculty and that kind of finance students here. And those days, the finance students used to be also. It also is a function of finance faculty and what we give them. And they grossly, I mean, the quality of finance courses, finance faculty as such came down drastically, and that's when we started focusing specially. And we were lucky to get some really excellent faculty members, starting with Madhu. When somebody said Madhu from Monash wants to come, I just did not trust him. Let me be honest. I mean, why should somebody from Monash, who has an offer from two IIMs and IITs and all that, wants to join TAPMI? There's something more to it than what meets the eye. So I was going very slowly. In fact, he was getting excited to come and join here, but we were going a little slowly because if a pretty girl comes and says, "Hey, I love you, man, would you marry me?" You start wondering, what the hell? Even a good thing sometimes causes dissonance. There's something here, something. Maybe she has AIDS. Maybe. No, I didn't mean it to him. I mean, I was talking about a pretty girl. I'm not talking about Madhu. And I'm talking about AIDS, and it's got nothing to do with him. He's a very clean guy. He doesn't even eat onion and garlic. So I keep telling him, eat some vegetarian chicken and vegetarian fish. So that kind of a vegetarian he is. And then he brought in some good faculty at a junior level. And also he met somebody called Vishwanathan Iyer and said, he's fantastic, he's very knowledgeable, please have a look at him. This is the way we are slowly building up. This is on the manpower side. And as he narrated the story of Finance Lab, right now we are at a very early stage of a dream that he shared with you and I have shared with him as well. But I went and kind of made a presentation, very informal presentation to the faculty council to quite a few American universities where I went and met the faculty for collaboration, especially business schools. When I made a presentation about this, they said, yeah, we also have this, but then you guys are pretty radical. You mean to say you give real cash? I said, what do you mean by real cash? He said, you mean you give your currency? I said, yes. What is so great about it? No, we don't give that. We keep the fund is managed by the faculty, sorry, meaning operated by the faculty. The students work as a team of consultants, and they are very proud. We have made $10 million in the last 11 years. Maybe if that kind of a fund was given to our students, they would have made possibly $1 billion, I'm sure. But right now we are slowly growing in finance, and in terms of our actual, my finance, my institute's finance. So it's not as if it's a constraint. I mean, I just have to increase your caution deposit and I can give more money, no problems. I hope the judges know what the trick behind it is. It's both a carrot and a gun story. You make profit, you put it back in an endowment to institute because you cannot carry the profit. It's a commercial activity. Trust doesn't permit. When I say trust, the rules of the law of trust, endowment has to be given, and nobody can carry profit based out of funds of the institute. So the money has to come back to the institute in some form, but not as a profit, so it has to go to an endowment. You make a loss, the loss is made out of your security caution deposit, which I carry anyway. And that's the way real life works. Am I right? All of you are specialists from finance. So you lose money, you lose it from your pocket, or it comes back to you in the form of a pink slip. So we put that strict rule, and they have taken it. Initially they came and they had a delegation came and told us, sir, why this caution deposit? I said simple, my charitable trust rule says I cannot lose money and operate in stock market, so I have to secure it. But assume how much money will you lose? 20%? 5,000. Tell me where in the world you get 5,000 rupees ke liye itna learning milta hai. Why don't you look at it that way? Then they said, okay sir, we are willing to pay. I mean, if you get a 5,000 rupees fee for a course like this, tell me, I'll join it as well. In fact, I'll put all my students into that. Then they agreed, and I just gave it to Madhu. He said, you handle it. I have 30% stake in this in terms of grading. I grade simply by the ROI they have made. But Madhu is going to take you apart, and then there will be a panel of judges he is having in mind who are going to take you apart, whatever he leaves behind. So you face life, and that's the way the course was thought of, and he has designed it beautifully. In future, of course, I would like to have more students, and right now we have 16 terminals of Bloomberg. It should go to 32 in about 3 to 5 years max. And by 7 years, we should have the largest Bloomberg terminal in the world. That's what my vision is, because we have large number of students, and there are more students who will be interested. And it's not necessary that you have to look for a job only in a finance company. With this finance knowledge, you can become an excellent marketing person. And remember, I don't know how many of you have read that book I gave you, Nirmalya Kumar's Marketing as Strategy. 83% of successful CEOs are from finance background, not the lowly marketing background, you know. So he laments saying, that's because finance guys have the knack of controlling where money goes. Money should go to where money is. And that is the precise idea with which this course was started, with real cash. Manage it. Go through the trepidations. You might have failed sometimes, you might have succeeded. When you succeed, you have that elation, yay. But when you fail, you start wondering what to do, my God. Life goes that way. So we are, from the day one, as I have been telling you, you learn subjects incidentally. For 2 years, you learn to manage yourself and manage life. Face life, learn and face life. Wish you all the best. I expect to see a very exciting presentation. I don't want to see any assumptions. Because I've given you money, I want to see logic. If you're going to make assumption, it should be after exhausting 99.99999% of logic, and then say, this therefore does not appear clear to me, so we have made this assumption. That should be consistent with the rational thinking. I hope you have been taught sufficiently about that. So I hope I'm right in my expecting this as a financier of the business, and that I want to see. Wish you all the very best, and once again, thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Sir, we are truly honored to have you with us today. We also have with us today 7 top magnates and industry specialists from different sectors and areas of finance who have kindly agreed to mentor the teams. The teams have gained deep insights and a better understanding of the course under their guidance and mentorship. I would like to introduce the 7 judges for the day. Mr. Anil Gilani. Mr. Anil Gilani is the business head and chief investment officer at DSP BlackRock Pension Fund Managers since its inception. His key responsibilities include establishing business objectives, formulating strategies in line with long-term vision, driving sales and marketing initiatives with direct oversight for key relationships, setting up a robust investment process and overseeing the fund management and dealing activity. He is an active volunteer of Indian Association of Investment Professionals, IAIP, the CFA India Society since 2007-2008. He is currently serving as a director on the board of IAIP in volunteer capacity and has the responsibility as director in charge of the Programming and Consulting Education Committee. Please give him a huge round of applause. Mr. Sandesh Kirkire. Mr. Sandesh Kirkire is an engineer with Masters in Management Studies from JBIMS. After working for 3 years post his engineering, he did his Masters in Management Studies. He has about 25 years of experience in financial service, covering a wide gamut of areas of corporate finance, investment banking, treasury, funds management, and general management.